Another thing that can be done that the insurance companies are not looking at is medications like X-Forge and Azor that you could prescribe the higher dose and yet take half the dose and it would last you twice as long. Some of my patients adjust their medications, as they should, to their blood pressure levels and to their cholesterol levels. And we're in contact with one another. I'm starting to get lots of correspondence from the insurance companies who say, your patients are not taking their medications like they're supposed to. And my answer almost uniformly is, yes, they are. And I go to the chart and check and call the patient. But it makes my life complex and difficult because it takes away time from the practice of seeing patients and caring for patients. And I'd like to think that that's what I do as a physician, that I care for patients. But there are so many external divisions and requirements that it's much more difficult to take care of patients than it used to. On the other hand, I understand that medical costs are really quite a bit out of control. I think I read a figure that said medicine in the United States cost $2 trillion. Well, that's because they don't have me in charge, and I would make people change what they do so that there would be a little bit of a reward system. You might say, well, what's that mean? You're not going to give care to cigarette smokers or alcoholics? We have to find some way to involve the patient and make the patient responsible. I'm not sure I can come that up. We have tried what's called the jawbone technique, encouraging patients, pushing patients. But the fact is, you also need the whip sometimes in addition to the carrot. So yes, I want to encourage patients. And one of the things that's worked very well is money reimbursement. If you had a negative urine for tobacco and your blood pressure was 110 and your cholesterol was 130 with a non-HDL cholesterol, non-HDL, subtract the good, the HDL from the total, and when you subtract that number, that's called the non-HDL cholesterol. If you were a non-smoker who exercised, who had a 20% body fat as a man or 25% as a woman, and your A1C diabetes test was 5.5 or less, let me tell you, that's really low risk, and you should be entitled to some kind of significant, not minor, some kind of significant payback. Of course, what we know is that there is generally a smaller group, not so small, but it's smaller than the general population, that is sick at any one time and needs a great deal of health care. And the point would be, can this be prevented? And of course the answer is, to a large part it can be prevented. Now, let he who is without sin cast the first stone, and judge not lest ye be judged. I am not so perfect in my own diet, exercise, percent body fat, and so on. You might say, well, why not? And you should say that. Maybe not quite that rough. I'm not that rough with my patients. But when my patients come in, I just saw a patient a few minutes ago, 218 pounds, 5 feet 9 inch tall woman. And I had done an ultrasound on her, like what you get for gallstones or when you're pregnant, or an ultrasound of the heart, and it showed hardening of the arteries in the blood vessels, in her blood vessels. Well, she's straightforward. She doesn't deny anything, but her weight is unchanged, and that's what's driving this high cholesterol, which has caused hardening of the arteries. Now, she's also agreeable to taking medication, and that's a plus, but wouldn't it be better if she had a proper kind of diet, and we're going to talk about diet, such that she did not have any need for the medication. Of course, need for medication is in large part, when it comes to cholesterol and blood pressure, is in large part determined by percent body fat. And how do you know what your proper percent body fat is? Proper percent body fat is defined not by a number, but by the following. Clear lines of definition / demarcation, clear lines of definition or demarcation on the abdomen. Can you see where your muscles meet your muscles on your abdomen? And if you can't, you have two things to do: lose more weight and exercise more. Because that's what tells you when you have so little fat under your skin that you can see the muscles. And that's when you're done doing what you're done. I spoke to another patient just a few minutes. She was telling me her muscles ache and so on. She's on cholesterol medication. I'm not sure that's the cause. She also wears sort of different shoes that I think contribute to it, but she's overweight. And she's got all this pressure on her posture and her belly and so on and so on. And so there's more to life that comes from what you eat and smoke and drink and weigh and exercise than just whether or not you have a heart attack. It's the simple pleasure of your everyday life. And I know most of us just simply don't take seriously the moment. Last night on Larry King, it was really interesting. One of the people that I know and respect a great deal, Dr. Dean Ornish, was on, along with Anthony Tony Robbins and the CNN MD, Sanjay Gupta. And Sanjay Gupta is a smart guy, but I don't think his diet is so great. Dean Ornish, he was very good. He's got a very nice way about him. I've written my book, Maximum Healing, and he has his new book out called Spectrum. And I didn't exactly get in on the beginning, but they were both talking about being more mindful is the word. I like the word aware. Somebody once told me that I was an aware person, and that really flattered me, because being aware of who you are and where you are and the implications of what you do will keep you out of a lot of trouble and prevent a lot of disease and so on. And so what we need to do is be more aware about our food. When we eat animal protein, we should have very little of it because we are designed to be mostly vegetarian. And mostly is not 50%. Mostly is up around 90%. So we could have fish or free-range chicken or buffalo burgers or bear meat twice a week. You will be healthier if you are a vegan vegetarian. Vegan means nothing from an animal. No eggs, no skim milk, no fish, no chicken. And I'm not here to argue. I'm just telling you what I know, that vegan vegetarians tend to be very, very healthy. All right, diet, exercise help prevent cancer. That's what this article said. And this article was written November 15th, 2007. And it's from one of the journals I really read and enjoy. It's called Internal Medicine News.